It's time to tell the truth about the Moors. The black depictions that you see are misleading.
Prejudice has never been simply a matter of black versus white. When we collapse complex histories into those two categories, we erase nuance and obscure truth. Take, for instance, how people talk loudly about the Moors. Some Black Americans proudly claim the Almoravids and the Moorish conquest as a triumph of blackness. In response, some whites retort that the Moors were Arabs. Very few ever call them white. The truth is more complicated. The conquerors of Al-Andalus in the 11th century were not Arabs at all, but the Sanhaja, a confederation of Amazigh tribes from North Africa. These were indigenous North Africans, carriers of the paternal E1b1b haplogroup, who had first converted to Islam in the 8th through 9th centuries as Arab traders and soldiers moved west from the Middle East. At first their conversion was partial, with many older pagan practices lingering. By the 11th century, the Sanhaja sought a stricter orthodoxy and invited the reformer, Abd Allah ibn Yassin from Morocco. Under his leadership, the Lamtuna tribe became the Al-Murabitun, the Almoravids, waging jihad first against other Amazigh tribes and then against the Soninke rulers of ancient Ghana. From their base in Algeria, they expanded west, south, and eventually into Iberia. But this expansion was not just about faith or trade. Early Islam made heavy use of the Ghilman Mamluk system, the conscription of outsiders to serve as soldiers, guards, and administrators. It was a polite way of saying that the non-Muslims or Muslims deemed lax in their practices were enslaved and pressed into service. Black men from Bilad Al-Sudan, also known as the Land of the Blacks, aka Negro Land, stretching from Senegal to Niger, and white Slavs and Turks, known as the Sakaliva, were taken as military slaves. In the palace, many were castrated and made eunuchs. Young Slavic boys in particular were vulnerable to sexual exploitation, a practice not unlike bakabazi. For their armies, the Almoravids and their successors drew heavily on captives from the Senegal River Valley, Pule, aka Fulani, Mandinka, Soninke, and others. These men became the face of the Almoravids in Europe, visually striking against Iberian backdrops and feared as superb soldiers. Meanwhile, Slavs and Black Africans, though serving side by side, rarely mixed. In fact, they often regarded each other with hostility, both trapped in the same system of exploitation. The memory of this survives in Sicily, where to this day, Mameluke is used as an insult. Mamluk literally means own one, just as Abid means slave. This history came alive for me in Livorno, Italy, where I encountered Quattro Mori, the monument of the four Moors. The statue shows Grand Duke Ferdinand I above four chained captives. While tourists often photographed it while hiding the clearly African figure, preferring to call them Turks. At the same time, Black tourists will photograph the Black one and use it as proof of their being the conquerors. But when I looked, I saw something else. One man with Senegalese features, another who looked like a Swede, and others somewhere in between. These weren't Turks. These were the echoes of long history of Amazigh conquest, Islamic slave soldiery, and Mediterranean power struggles. That monument speaks volumes. It's not just about white domination over black men, but about a complex chain of exploitation where Arabized Amazigh elites and Arabs enslaved both Africans and Slavs, and where later European elites conquered them all. When we erase nuance and reduce history to a color binary, we miss the truth staring us in the face. Many descendants of the Moors today still live in Mauritania and Western Sahara. Moor refers to the dominant Arabized Berber population. They are not a vanished medieval people. They are a living culture descended from the Sanhaja tribes, which are Lamtuna, Gudala, Masufa, Tajikant. Later, they mixed with Arab lineages, especially the Banu Hassan, who arrived in the 15th century. They speak Hassaniya Arabic, which became their mother tongue as Arabization deepened. Socially, Mauritania still distinguishes between Bidan, white Moors, and Haritin, black Moors. The Haritin are descendants of enslaved peoples incorporated into Moorish society, many with Fula, Soninke, and Wolof ancestry. However, due to enslavement and being cut off from their respective cultures, they are classified as Haritin. Elsewhere, they can be found in Western Sahara. The Moors, often called Sahraoui, are the main population closely related to Mauritanian Bidan. You can find them in Morocco and Algeria. Sanhaja descendant groups survive in the High Atlas and Kabyle. Most are identified today as Amazigh rather than Moors. This concludes the lecture for today. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Leave your comments in the box.